Hello and welcome to Sports Star Extras. I'm Ayan Acharya here to review day 4 of the third and final test between England and Pakistan at the Aegis Bowl in Southampton, where fast bowler Jimmy Anderson is on the cusp of a major milestone. He has 599 test wickets, one shy of 600, with Pakistan battling to save this test match. The task is looking increasingly difficult, I must say. To discuss the day's proceedings, we have joining us from Bangalore, Ashwin Achal. Good evening, Ashwin.
Good evening, Ayan. How anticlimactic would it be if tomorrow's play is washed out and Anderson is stuck on 599 and he has to wait God knows how many more months for him to get to 600? What is the next series? Is it, are they coming to England? Are they coming to India in February? Proposed?
Yeah. It would indeed be quite anticlimactic if that happens because let's not forget he's had quite a few catches dropped off his bowling. There were at least 3 dropped on day 3. There was one dropped by Butler today. So had they held on to even 1 or 2 of those catches, he would have crossed 600. So must be a difficult night to be Jimmy Anderson because if the rain plays spoil sport on day 5, he may be stuck on 599 for a while. And the next series, looks likely that it will be the India series in February. And it's interesting because his record, Anderson and even Stuart Broad's record in the subcontinent isn't as great as it is in English conditions. So it will also be curious to see whether so many months down the line, these two who are, obviously given by their performances in England are sure starters in the playing 11 here, may not necessarily start at the top of the pecking order, Paul, So, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you're dead right. They are not, both Broad and Anderson, not as effective in India or in the subcontinent as they are in England. I think Anderson averages 32 or 33 in India, and even though he has had some success, I think the most recent tour a few years ago, he did better than what he had in the past. But you're right, actually, if he is stuck on 599 and we have another 6 to 7 months to go for the next test, anything could change. You're right, because let's be honest, I think Archer would be much more effective in subcontinent pitches than Broad and Anderson, and then you have Vokes as well.
Yeah, you need a fast bowler with the ability to hit the deck hard. And Archer though hasn't. Archer is an out-and-out pace bowler, right? He doesn't really swing the ball much. You don't really see him reversing it. He relies on that pace and hostility to get wickets. And given the, although wickets in India over the last 2 years have been slightly on the greener side, they have helped the fast bowlers. Partly the reason why India has such an amazing pace battery at the moment. But still, you would imagine for someone like Jimmy Anderson, 6 months down the line, to come to India and be just as effective as he is in England may not be that easy. So yeah, let's hope. He would be hoping there's some play possible so that he can get that chip off his shoulder with the 600 test wicket. What did you make of Pakistan? This is, they would be hoping there is rain tomorrow, but they have shown some fight in the last couple of days with their batting, especially Azhar Ali.
Yeah, not too bad. Lost only 2 wickets, batted about 56 overs today. Showed some fight, at least they showed some intent to stick around and make a match of it, which was more or less missing in the first innings and also for the large part of the first test as well. So could this finally be the innings where Babar Azam lives up to all the hype and makes a match-saving century? It's now or never, I suppose, for him. This is the last innings of the series. So if he wants to sign off in style, he has to do it on the final day and carry his bat through, get a big 175, 180 not out, along with Azhar Ali. Of course, Azhar Ali is the man in form, first inning centurion. So you can count on him. But I think all eyes on Babar Azam. A lot of talk coming into this series saying, he belongs in the Kohli club. He hasn't shown it yet, and this is his chance to do it.
Yeah. And absolutely, I mean, the focus will be on him. There has been a lot of talk. He played brilliantly, though. I mean, let's not forget that this hype surrounding Babar Azam is not for nothing.
Yeah.
He's played some superb knocks in Australia against a very good pace attack. Batsmen, as we have discussed earlier as well, do struggle in England given the conditions and the help the fast bowlers get. So, we had discussed during the course of this series how the 2014 tour of England was a turning point for Virat Kohli. For all you know, this could be the tipping point for Babar Azam. Maybe the way from here is just up and up. But yeah, first of all, he has to, try and put in the work and make sure that Pakistan get over the line safely and save this test match, of course, because, series started on such a positive note for them. Had they won that test match there, in Manchester, things could have looked so different. I mean, so props to Josh Butler and Chris Wokes for turning things around, really, in retrospect.
Yeah, I think that partnership between Wokes and Butler in the first test turned out to be not only a match-winning partnership, but a series-winning partnership.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable how a couple of good performances can change the entire course of a team. Yeah, Pakistan now, of course, they're not going to win this match. They're not even going to draw this series. So they'll be looking back at the first test as a big lost chance, no doubt about it.
Correct. Yeah, before we wrap up, Ashwin, I mean, just going back to what the makeup of this English test team could look like for the next series, which potentially could be the Tour of India in February. Someone like Chris Wokes might actually come into his own. You'd imagine, because he's an all-rounder who's proved his worth here. We know how crucial all-rounders can be in Indian conditions, especially if you're not exactly effective with the ball, then he can always chip in with the bat, and Wokes has shown that lower down the order. Do you reckon there's also a chance for someone like Mark Wood, because he didn't really get too many opportunities here, but maybe in India?
Yeah, Mark Wood could be effective in India. He has a tendency to get the ball to reverse. At least we've seen that in the past. Not an out-and-out seam bowler, and honestly, out-and-out seam bowlers like Broad and Anderson, the chances of doing well in India consistently is not all that high, at least not as high as their chance of doing well in England.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Wokes actually, it's interesting. You mentioned his batting. He owes a lot to the England team management for having the trust in him to send him at 5 down on number 7. Because when you go at 5 down, that means you're playing almost like a proper batsman, at the level of a wicket-keeper batsman at least. So the management is giving him every chance to, solidify his place in the 11, because like you said, if he doesn't perform with the ball, then at least he has a chance to contribute to the bat and keep his place in the team. So this is a big advantage that Wokes has over the other bowlers and seamers, because at least he gets a chance to come in, score some runs, and edge out the pure fast bowlers like Anderson, Broad, or even Archer, if it comes down to it. If it's in a situation where they're fighting for their spot in the team, Wokes will get the edge.
Right, absolutely. So yeah, that would be all from our side. Let's see how day 5 unfolds, if it unfolds, weather willing. That is, Jimmy Anderson will be keeping his fingers crossed while in bed tonight. He'd be hoping that he gets that wicket nice and early. And what an achievement it would be for a fast bowler to pick 600 test wickets. We have waxed lyricals about him. He's proved his worth over the course of this series. There were doubts raised about his longevity, about his place in this team, but he has answered his critics in style. Can he get to that elusive 600 mark on day 5? Well, only time will tell. Until then, this is Ayan Acharya with Ashwin Achal signing off for Sports Star. Thank you so much for watching us.